So this is what it's like to sit inside the Equus. I don't know if it's going to do the same thing because I actually am already sitting in it, but kind of cool when you actually get in. So I try unlocking the door. There we go. And once you're in, put your foot on the brake. And there's our cold start up. Keep in mind that is with exhaust currently open. Let me make that a little bit better for you guys. There we go. That's my little modification there. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is it. And a lot of options you actually have on the screen here. Let me see if I can zoom in here. It's almost like a 3D kind of view where you have the analog gauges and the digital screen inside. Pretty cool. Let's go up a little bit more. There we go. And what we can do is kind of use the control knobs here and go through the different configuration screens. You've got lane watch or lane keep assist, whatever music is currently playing, directions and compass, whether or not you need service. I just have that set to every 3,000 miles to make sure I do my oil change, which is coming up pretty soon. Let me turn the fan off there. A little noisy. And of course you have your settings mode where you go through all the different parts of the vehicle and everything like that. So pretty cool stuff here. I usually just always keep it on the first setting here because it shows your current MPG real time. Another option is just standard trip A, trip B, but this gives you the most information, plus it gives you your real time miles per gallon, outside temperature, what gear you're in, all that good stuff. And then of course, let me just shut that off now and show you what it does here. And you get slid away from the screen. The steering wheel gets out of your way, and it's kind of cool. So as far as options, we could start looking at some of the options here. But we have tilting, telescoping, heated steering wheel, that button right there, and then this, of course, moves around the steering wheel. Over here we have the blind spot monitoring right here. And then you have the parking assist, which beeps. Actually, which is really cool about this is this beeps in the stereo, whatever area you're about to hit. So if you're going to hit something in your right rear, the right rear speaker will start beeping at you, which is pretty cool. Traction control off, and of course your dimmer there. Kind of going over here, since we're already in the area, here we have our seat controls, back of the seat, bottom of the seat, and then base of the seat. I can actually go forward to give you a little bit more leg support. Plus you have the two different memories in there. Of course, driver 1 is my wife, and I am driver number 2. Window lock, and then the auto folding mirrors. Those actually just kind of do their own thing. They fold up when the car is off and you've locked it, and when you walk up to it again, they'll roll down. And when they roll down, when it's later at night, I'll show you, they actually have a LED puddle light, which is pretty cool. Screen, it's not a touch screen. It's actually operated down here by this dial. So this is left, this is right, and you click in for the enter. And then it's kind of like an Android setup almost. You have a menu button and then a left and a right click essentially. Then there's like quick buttons to go to wherever you want to go. So there's also a dedicated back button, a la kind of an Android thing that I'm used to. And phone contacts, home gets you straight to the home menu. Map goes over to your Navi, of course, and destination will have you quickly enter a destination. This also has BlueLink. So BlueLink is a service by Hyundai to which you can get support, live emergency support or anything like that, as well as it monitors your servicing schedule, and also monitors your eco driving, which I'll definitely go into later, which is a pretty cool feature. Heated and cooled seats, so you have heated 3 settings, and then cooling 3 settings. It'll be either red or blue illuminated up here. And then you have the air ride suspension, so you have normal and high. And when it is high, the car will lift up approximately 1.5 inches for greater ground clearance. This is the back shade here. So if we're going to go ahead and click the shade button, we have the shade that goes up in the back, very cool. And of course you can press it again and it goes back down. So some of the other cool stuff about the car, first of all, I love the wood in here because it's not that nasty burl wood sort of finish. It's actually a black wood. I don't know exactly what it's called. Somebody's going to say in the comments that it's called blackwood. But I looked up online, and each of these pieces to replace one section of this on the dash is approximately $3,000. So trying to keep that in good shape, as well as the same thing on the doors as well. Both front and back doors have that same kind of wood in the back. And then I also like the cream and black interior mix in here. So very cool. I never thought I'd like it, but I actually do on this. Kind of going down here, you have a analog clock. It's pretty nice. It's not too gaudy. You have your engine start-stop button, your climate controls, and various other climate controls here. But if you were to actually press the climate button here, you can actually get a display here showing you exactly where everything is going, and then of course adjust that as needed. So pretty cool. The rear has its own climate, so the rear seat passenger will just adjust it on that little dial back there, which is the same as I showed you in the front. The backseat passenger in this car really has a lot of control, but you can still lock them out if you really needed to. But again, this is a very advanced set of options that I'm not normally used to. Let's see here. We go to our home menu. It'll bring up everything here, so you will see navigation, radio, XM, CD. Yes, it has a CD, and yes, it has DVD, and yes, it plays DVD movies. Don't worry, it just always says battery discharge warning when I have the car off and trying to explain things, so don't mind that. And it also, something very cool, is it has its own 30 gig jukebox. So we can essentially load in up to 30 gigs worth of MP3s, OGG files, and listen to it on the go without having any sort of device plugged in, which is pretty cool. Bluetooth audio, of course, hooked up to my phone. Another cool thing about this is in the info area, you have XM data, and it actually shows you the current weather and traffic, as well as some stock market information. All this stuff is through the BlueLink network, the XM network, and I think it's a small fee, but it's only like $5 or something like that, so I just leave it there. Pretty cool, shows the traffic and gets us around situations pretty easily. And back to the menu here. The sound system in here is ridiculous. We're talking a 11 speaker system with surround, and it's by a company called Lexicon, who makes kind of high-end professional series, professional grade audio, and the sound in here is literally the best sounding stereo in a car I've ever heard. It is a little bit lacking, I think, in the low-end punch. You don't feel it in the seats like some cars, but the actual clarity and quality is unmatched. Let's see here, adjust the display settings if you like. What's funny here is if we actually go into clock settings here and see if I back it out a little bit, and I go to clock settings, I switch over here, and I go to Okay, so I'm switching the settings and I take it off of daylight savings time. Watch what happens to the clock when I click up there. It actually sets the analog clock digitally, which is crazy. So very cool little touch. Turn off daylight savings time, turn it back on. And you hear it adjust back over. Very cool stuff. And down here by the gear shift selector, we have our auto hold feature, which is like brake hold and, you know, the tensions and stuff like that. And you just hold down the brake and the car will stop on a hill or whatever. Very cool, very handy. Then we also have drive mode, and essentially what happens when you utilize drive mode is you press that button. You can see there that we went from sport to snow and to normal. And I can tell you that snow works in the snow. We've actually tested it out. But sport is quite exciting. It changes all the gear ratios for you when you're you know, driving fast. Definitely goes through gas a little bit more, but totally worth it as far as, you know, getting around somebody or being able to get on the freeway really smoothly. And of course you have XM radio, and it's got like a kind of old school little dial there that you utilize down below with the all-in-one controller down below. Said many times before, all of the lights inside here are LED, and pretty much every light. We have the room light that turns on everything, including the back, and then we have the door that turns on only the door, or the section that turns on when the door is open. So if somebody comes in the back, only the back lights will light up. I thought that was a very cool touch. I should probably show this to you when I've got a little bit more darkness here, and we can show off how cool the LEDs are. Sunglass holder, everything like that right here. And then you have the sunroof controls right below where we had the room lighting on. You also have the room lighting off. You have the ability to do map lighting, kind of basic stuff, and our sunglass holder. Of course, being the Equus, everything seems to be wrapped in a micro suede velvet. Keep in mind also that everything up here, all of this headliner and everything is actually suede or micro suede, and it does get dirty, but it is kind of easily cleaned. Again, a touch that I'm not used to, having a suede headliner, as well as even suede A-pillars, which is like incredible to me. So yeah, it's a little bit more high class than I'm used to. I mean, we can even take it down to the fact that the door jambs, the weather stripping on the door jambs is actually that micro suede. So I'll show you that in a second here. Normally when you open up your door, you have like this rubber piece that's mounted around your door. What's extremely crazy about this is that this is all a suede or microfiber suede lining that goes all the way down, and that's what the door meets with. The door meets with suede instead of meeting with another piece of rubber. I don't know how they made that work, but it's absolutely a touch that is above and beyond. Plus, of course, you have those stoppers for the door jamb latches, and plenty of sound sealant everywhere. On the door, of course, everything is in leather, real leather, not pleather. And when you roll down the window, you'll notice something here. Let me stop it right about there. Let's see if it can focus here. Maybe not. But that is double pane glass. So you have actually two pieces of glass right there. And that definitely helps with the sound deadening and everything like that. So very, very cool stuff. And something I only see on kind of like the higher end cars. Picture. Down below that panel that I went through before, we have the trunk popper there, and then also the electric parking brake. The back seat is definitely the place to be. Let me go ahead and turn on the room lighting so we can see what we're doing here. But over here, again, like in the front, we have pretty much the same setup, right? So we have controls for the radio, mute, satellite, any sort of media we have hooked up, the ability to turn the power on or off. So you almost have more control than the driver. What's also secondary down here is there's even extra stuff here. So we have fan control, temperature, heated seats, the shade in the back, recline, and there's the relax button. Now the relax button is really cool. So essentially what happens is that you're already comfortable sitting here in this back seat, and then what's going to happen is this front seat is already pretty far forward and you have tons and tons of leg room. But if we press the relax button, this is what happens. So now this has reclined, the back seat is completely reclined for the passenger, and they can even put their feet up on the back of the seat there and just relax and have a little siesta. But all we need to do down here is to press the return button, and everything goes back here. Once everything's in place there, the front seat kind of goes back into its position. A little spooky but cool at the same time. I've never seen it in any car do this without having to do a bunch of rigmarole to get it working. Another benefit to this is that there's actually the forward and back for the seat right on the side. So if you needed to, as a driver, move the seat forward or back, you don't need to reach clean across the seat to make that work, to do the reclining or the sliding forward and backward. I thought that was a cool touch. So even as the rear passenger over here on this side, you've got a AC vent there. You have two AC vents in the middle, as well as a display below of what the current temperatures are, what you have it set to, as well as this side over here has a vent as well, opening and closing as well, and on the bottom, of course, you have your heater. So very cool. It's a pleasant place to be, and there's plenty of room. The first time I sat in the car and I looked back at my son, I felt like I was driving a minivan, but I still had to remind myself that I'm in a, a four-door sedan.